Dear children, we are going to begin a new lesson in statistics for economics. The name of the lesson is index numbers. Now, what are these index numbers? Now, we will be concentrating on three topics in index numbers. One is what is the meaning of index number and which are the types of index number. There are different types of index number, but for this year we need to learn only two types of index numbers, and then the final topic is uses of index number. Now, uses of index number will be given as a project work for you, which you have to do for your 11th standard, which you have to do it as a 11th standard project, and the guidelines for the project will be given for you. The topic is the uses of index numbers. Now, let us first start with the meaning of index numbers. What are these index numbers and what is their purpose in statistics? Now, index numbers. What are index numbers? Index numbers are the devices which measures the changes in the level of phenomena with regard to respect to time, geography, location and other criteria. So, they are those devices which measures the changes in the level of phenomena, certain phenomena with respect to time, geographical location and other criteria. So, let me explain what is this with the help of the second definition, simple definition which is given for index numbers. It is a statistical device for measuring the changes in the magnitude of a group of related variables. Now, what are variables? You know, the variables are those which changes every time. For example, prices of the commodities, production of agricultural products in the agricultural sector, then production of industrial sector. All these varies. These are known as variables. Okay. So, index numbers are the devices which measures the changes in the level of certain variables or phenomena with respect to time, geographical location and other criteria. There are so many economic factors and variables which affect us. They always changes with regard to the time, geographical location, etc. For example, agricultural production. The production of certain agricultural crops may vary from the previous year to this year, isn't it? It depends on so many other factors. So, index number is a statistical device which is used to measure the changes in the level of these factors with respect to their time, geographical location, etc. Or it can be defined as a statistical device for measuring the changes in the magnitude. You know what is the meaning of magnitude, isn't it? Of a group of related variables. So, we will be learning about how far the group of related variables are changing. The index number measure the changes in the magnitude of these related variables. Now, with the example, I will make the concept of index number very clear to you. Now, the examples which I have given is prices of the commodities. Now, you know that prices of the commodities are varying, isn't it? Now, the price of a particular commodity has changed from the previous years to this particular year, isn't it? Now, if 2021 is the current year, the base year will be 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, all others previous years can be considered as the base year. So, the present year is the current year and all others are referred to as the base year. So, how far the prices of the commodities has changed from the base year to the current year. That kind of changes in the magnitude in the variables that is being studied by index numbers. Let us take the example of a particular commodity. The price of one particular commodity has definitely changed from the year 2007 to 2020. 2007 is the base year, 2020 is the current year. If the current year, for example, if 2020 is taken for study, for a studying or for a research work, if 2020 is taken as the current year, the previous years are the base year. If 2021 is the current year, all others are the base year. So depending on the study, for example, if you are making a comparative study between the prices of commodities in 2018 and 2007, definitely 2018 will be the current year and 2008 will be the base year. So the current year and the base year, the difference between the current year and the base year price. In order to study that, index numbers are the useful device. So index numbers is a statistical device which helps us to measure the changes in the magnitude of the related variables, prices of the commodities. Price of a particular commodity has definitely changed from 2017 to 2020. We are experiencing it, isn't it? So how far they have changed. In order to study that, it is a comparative study between the base year and the current year. For such studies, index numbers are the best statistical device. Now, point number 2, production in the industrial units. How far the production in the industrial units, it is a variable, isn't it? How far the production in the industrial units have changed from the previous year to the current year. To study that, we use index numbers as a statistical device. Next one, cost of living. You know that prices of so many commodities have changed from the previous years to the present year, isn't it? So when it changes, it will affect the cost of living. Now, you know, the price of 1 kg of rice years before, it was only 20, but now 1 kg of rice will cost 35 or 36 depending on the different types of rice we get, isn't it? So from 20, it has increased to 38 and 40. That means the purchasing power of the people are getting reduced, isn't it? Prices of the commodities are increased. So people will find difficult, isn't it? Even though the income of the people are increased. I am talking about those people who are working in agricultural sector, then industrial workers, etc. For a particular category of people, they will find difficult to carry their livelihood, isn't it? So for those people, the cost of living has definitely increased. If the price of 1 kg of rice has increased from rupees 20 from the previous years to the present to 40 or 38, definitely the cost of living has increased. So to know how far the cost of living has increased, definitely we need to make a comparative study between the prices of commodities in the base year as well as in the current year, isn't it? So index numbers are the statistical device which helps us to measure the changes in the magnitude of such related variables. So this is all about the meaning of index numbers. Now there are different types of index numbers, and mainly we will be concentrating on 2 types of index numbers. They are wholesale price index number and consumer price index number. Now, consumer price index number is very important from your examination point of view and as per this chapter is concerned, because consumer price index number mainly studies about the cost of living of the consumers. Okay, cost of living, how far it has increased. That is what consumer price index says. Now let me define what is a consumer price index. Consumer price index measures the average change in the prices paid by the specific class of consumers for goods and services consumed in the current year comparison with the base year. Now it measures changes in the price. I know that will be clear to you. Paid by specific class of consumers. Why it is termed as specific class of consumers? Because you know that richer sections are not that affected by the changes in the prices of the commodities. Who are affected by the changes in the prices of the commodities? Especially people who are the casual laborers, people who are working in agricultural field, those who are working in the industrial units, isn't it? For those people, the rises in the price are very sensitive. Therefore, index number, consumer price index number, helps us to study about the change in the price paid by these class of consumers, who agricultural laborers, casual workers, people who are working in the industrial units. The price changes, the change in the price that is experienced by these groups of consumers for the goods and services consumed by them in the current year compared with the base year. So, when the price has changed from the base year to the current year, how far these particular group of consumers are affected, how far their cost of living has increased. To find out that, we use the consumer price index. So, we are very much concerned about those groups of people, isn't it? Because they are the people who struggle to carry their livelihood, isn't it? To earn their livelihood. So, we are very concerned about those groups of people, those categories of people. So, to know how far their cost of living has increased, to know that we need to depend on the consumer price index, because by comparing the price that they have paid for different commodities with the current year and the base year, we will be able to know how far their cost of living has increased. So, on the basis of that only the government can take the successive policy measures to help them out, isn't it? That is the main aim of studying the consumer price index, because government need to provide welfare for these people, isn't it? So, in order to provide welfare, government has to know what is their cost of living, whether it is beyond their capability. So, to know that, the consumer price index is calculated. Okay. So, on the basis of that, government can take measures to protect them. So, that is the area, that is why we use these statistical measures. This helps the government to frame out policies, because in the first chapter we have learned the use of statistics. It helps the government to make policies, isn't it? Consumer price index is the best method where government can assess the cost of living of these categories of people and help them out for earning their livelihood. Special programs and policies can be evolved by the government to protect these categories of people. This is possible only by knowing their increase in the cost of living. Now, mainly we use aggregate expenditure method to calculate the consumer price index. Now, let me give a small example for that. Here, different commodities are given, commodity A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is consumed by a particular family. Now, the prices are given. These are the prices in 1994 and prices in 2009. Now, price of commodity A in 1994 is only 10. It has increased to 15 in 2009. Now, price of commodity B is 8 in 1994 and it has increased to 12 in 2009. Definitely it will increase, isn't it? Now, here I have shown the quantity consumed in 1994 with the assumption that there won't be much increase in the quantity consumed. Only there will be changes in the price, but we cannot assume a change in the quantity like that, like how we have written the price. Once again I am repeating, the change in the price we can definitely write down, but the change in the quantity, current year how much quantity is consumed, that is very difficult to measure, isn't it? So, here we give importance to the base year quantity, the quantity which is consumed in 1994, and we go with the assumption that the consumers are consuming almost the same commodity in the coming years. Okay, the consumption of the goods will be the same for the particular family in the coming years too. Therefore, we are not writing the current year quantity. So, once again I am repeating the reason for not writing the current quantity. We are going under the assumption that the family will be having the consumption of the following commodities in this almost the same units. Okay, that is why as per this aggregate expenditure method, the current year quantity is not specifically mentioned. Okay, so we are learning under the assumption of the base year quantity. So, quantity of 1994 is given as 15, 20, 10, 5, 6, 2 and 1. It can increase or decrease depending on increase in the number of members or decrease in members of the family. So, we cannot write the values for that. Therefore, we go with the assumption that almost the same quantity will be consumed. Okay. Now, with this we have to calculate the consumer price index in aggregate expenditure method. As per the aggregate expenditure method, consumer price index is expressed as the formula sigma P1Q0 by sigma P0Q0 into 100, where P1 is the current year price, P0 is the base year price, and Q0 is the base year quantity. So this is the P0 and this is P1 and this is Q0. Current year price is P1, base year price is P0, Q0 is the base year quantity. So P1 Q0, we have to find out the value of P1 Q0. That means the current year price has to be multiplied with the base year quantity. Definitely the values are 225, 240, 240, 200, 120, 36 and 10. That means P1 Q0 means what? This is P1 and this is Q0. Okay, so 15 into 15, 12 into 20. Likewise, P0 Q0 means 10 into 15, 8 into 20. So all those values I have written here. Now we have to find out the total of the same. Now sigma of P1 Q0 means total of P1 Q0, that is 1071 and this is 792. Now apply the formula. Sigma P1 Q0 is 1071, sigma P0 Q0 is 792. In 200 you will get it as 135.22, which means there is an increase of 35.2% in the price of commodities in the year, in the present year, which is the current year we are taking 2009 when compared to the year 1994. This is how we find the consumer price index. The cost of living has increased. So there is a difference, increase in the cost of living and the prices by 35. The increase in the price by 35.2% from the base year to the current year. Okay, now the next type of index number is wholesale price index. Now it measures the relative changes in the prices of commodities traded in the wholesale market. You know what is a wholesale market? Where the products or agricultural products or whatever, it comes in a huge amount and there will be dealers in the wholesale market, and from the wholesale market it will be given to the retail shops. Okay, so there will be a wide difference in the prices when we buy from the wholesale dealers and the retail dealers, but there is one difference. When we buy from the wholesale dealers, they will be giving the commodities in a particular quantity. Below that they won't be giving. So normally from the wholesale dealers it will be purchased by the retail shop. Okay, so what is wholesale price index? The wholesale price index measures the changes that are happening in the prices of commodities in the wholesale market. You know that in the wholesale market, the best example is the Broadway market. We can find so many shops are there, isn't it? Different types of commodities are coming there. Say for example, agricultural vegetables which are coming there, isn't it? Every week, every day the vegetables are coming. You can find the price changes every day, isn't it? So the changes in the price of the commodities which are traded in the wholesale market. Every day the price of the vegetables can change. Okay, if the price of 1 kg of brinjal is 20 rupees for today, it will be 15 rupees tomorrow, or it can be 22 rupees tomorrow. It can either increase or decrease. So the changes in the vegetables or the commodities which are experienced in the wholesale market, who trade in the wholesale market, that changes in the price which is experienced in the wholesale market is calculated by the index number known as wholesale price index. There are other different types of index numbers such as industrial price index, which calculates the price differences of the industrial products. Agricultural price index is there, which calculates the changes in the prices of agricultural products. The main two types of index numbers which you need to concentrate this year is consumer price index and wholesale price index. Now the next topic is index numbers. The uses of index numbers. Now uses of index number is a topic which is a project for you, and I will be giving the guidelines on how to do the project work on the uses of index numbers. There you have to include the other two types of index numbers which I have mentioned now, and you have to do the project detailed study on the index numbers, in which the proper guidelines will be given for you. Thank you.